I gotta say, what really stands out in Speak No Evil is absolutely James McAvoy. This is one of the biggest reasons you should check out this movie. What is up, guys and horror fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Owen Brinker, and today I'm going to review the latest horror thriller film, Speak No Evil. This is the latest film from Blumhouse, and this film is directed by James Watkins, who directed a movie called Women in Black, which I found very underrated. This film is also a remake that came out 2 years ago of a Danish film with the same name, and this movie stars James McAvoy, Mackenzie, McNairy, and Franciosi. A family is invited to spend the whole weekend in a lonely home in the countryside, but as the weekend progresses, they realize that a dark side lies within the family who invited them. So we got another Blumhouse film that came out right now, and of course, after all those 3 Blumhouse movies, I was not pumped for this movie. I just had enough with Blumhouse movies this year because we had so many terrible ones this year. But this film also has some balls because this is a remake of a Danish version of this film that came out 2 years ago. It's pretty odd that we get a remake that came out basically 2 years after the original. So I decided before I saw this film, I got a chance to see the Danish version, and I gotta say, that film is pretty unpleasant to say the least. And I gotta say, if you have not seen the original film, there is nothing too much to worry about because, like, I'm gonna say this early on, this film definitely felt like its own thing. But I decided, you know what, why not see the Danish film and compare this film to the original film, because I don't mind doing that in videos. And the Danish film is very unpleasant, but it's also a very intense ride with some pretty good performances in that movie. So I was not too pumped for this remake, even though I love James McAvoy. I think he's a terrific actor, and James Watkins is also a really underrated horror director. He directed A Woman in Black starring Daniel Radcliffe. That film is a very underrated horror film. I recommend you guys check it out if you have not seen it. But after what Blumhouse is putting out this year, I was not too pumped for this movie. And I gotta say, guys, comparing this to the original film and not being excited this film from Blumhouse because of all the bad films they're doing this year, this film felt very refreshing. We finally got a good Blumhouse movie that came out this year. This is actually a pretty solid remake, and if I could compare this to the original, there are some aspects of this film that I actually did like better than the original, and that's very, very refreshing. I gotta say, what really stands out in Speak No Evil is absolutely James McAvoy. This is one of the biggest reasons you should check out this movie, James McAvoy. His performance in this movie is fantastic. And what I love about James McAvoy in this movie is that there are two sides to his character, kind of like what Trap did really well, is that he has a side where he's like a nice, likable guy, but he also has a creepy side, and you don't know what to think of this guy, and James McAvoy absolutely delivers that role. He is so creepy, he's very uneasy at a couple of parts in the film. There are parts in the film where I'm like, oh no, he's going to explode, and I'm already on the edge of my seat. And it just shows how great an actor James McAvoy is. I would say with Split and Professor X, this is definitely a performance that I will remember James McAvoy in. He is phenomenal in this movie, and he really is why you should definitely check out this movie. James McAvoy himself. His performance is fantastic in this film. But also the rest of the performances are good, especially Mackenzie. I always love her as an actress. I thought Tolly is a very underrated performance that she is in. And it just shows that she is also a really good actress. You definitely feel her pain in the situation that she is in. She's obviously the main character you root for to get out of the situation that she is in, and I thought she adds a really strong tension to this film. McNairy is also really good in this film. Even though I do have a flaw with his character in the film, I still think his performance is really good. And his chemistry with Mackenzie also adds a very different arc to the film than the original did, and I find that very refreshing, and I thought their chemistry is really well done in the film. Franciosi, hopefully I said her name right, I love this actress from The Nightingale. She is also really good in this film as this trying to be nice wife to James McAvoy in the film, and she does a great job in the film. But what really impresses me about this film the most is the kids. The kid actors are also really good in this film. We get the daughter character of Mackenzie Davis's character, Agnes, the girl who played her, does a very good job in the film. You really feel her fear in this film, and I love that about the film. Her performance is very realistic in the film, and she does a really great job in the film. Also, the actor who plays James McAvoy's kid, Ant, in the film, man, he gets much more character development than the original presented, and he does a really great job in the film. He stole the show as well in this film. He adds a very creepy flair to the film, but also you understand his pain in this film, and I was really surprised that we get more of Ant in this film, and his character is really well done in the film. The kid who plays Ant is fantastic in the film. The kid actors really do impress me in the film, and that's very refreshing after Afraid. We finally got some good kid acting in horror films. But yes, comparing this movie to the original, there are some things that it did differently from the original, and it adds a bit of a refreshing feel for this remake. This film absolutely works with the changes. There are some really good tension building this film presented. This film is very uneasy. It's very stressful a couple of moments. It's very intense and thrilling. And James Watkins absolutely directed this remake very, very well. There are some great inspirations from the original film, but he did it his way. And he just directed this film really brilliantly. There are some great mirror shots in this film that I was actually really impressed by this film. But this film, I was on the edge of my seat, even though I know what's going to happen because I saw the original film. This film still gives you the uneasy vibes if you have seen the original film because you know exactly what's going to happen and it still presents in an uneasy way. It's sort of like other remakes I've seen, like West Side Story and stuff. Even though I know what's going to happen, I still feel a bit like, oh shit, no, don't make this happen. I still felt the same way with this film, and that's very refreshing. If you're not fans of sounds of broken bones and all that stuff, you're going to feel very unpleasant with this movie. There's not much blood in this movie per se, but there is a lot of creepy and disturbing, I would say, imagery of this film, and it just really develops that very, very well. James Watkins, once again, did another pretty good horror film. I would say, in my opinion, the only flaw I have with this remake is Scott McNairy's character. I thought his character is completely dumb in this film. He makes some really dumb decisions in the film where I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're trying to go in a hard way, basically. But even there are some decisions, like the original film presented, they did it the same way in this film, where I'm like, you could have took that in a bit of a different way. But they did that, of course, to drag the film along, so I was fine with this film turned out. But there are some dumb decision making in this film, and some people won't take that well. To me, I accepted it because it adds the film's tension and it drags the film along. But overall, guys, I was really surprised by this remake. I think this is one of the better horror remakes that came out in a while, and definitely, thank God, we got a good Blumhouse movie that came out this year. James McAvoy absolutely stole this movie. He delivers in this film. He is so creepy in this film. Mackenzie Davis is great. The rest of the acting is great, especially the child acting. This film is a very intense and uneasy remake to watch, and I was really having a blast with this film. And the audience as well had a lot of fun with this movie. There are some good crowd-pleasing moments in this film, but this film is definitely a very intense and fun thriller film that I would recommend you guys to check out, even if you have not seen the original, because this movie definitely stands on its own. There are some differences in the original that actually did work for me. There are some things in the original that is much more explored in the film that I was really pleasant with. James Watkins absolutely directed this film very, very well, and I'm very happy that we got a good Blumhouse movie that came out this year. Guys, I would say absolutely go check out Speak No Evil. I would say, in my opinion, go see Speak No Evil on the big screen. Finally, we got a good Blumhouse movie that came out this year. After Night Swim, Imaginary, and Afraid, it's just refreshing that we got a good Blumhouse movie that came out this year. So guys, that's my review for Speak No Evil. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like this film? Do you think it's better than the original? Let me know that in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.